this Gemini full moon happening on December 8th. So we're recording this 5 days in advance. But as you know, the full moon activates 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. So we are preparing ourselves for the Gemini full moon. Here are the 5 things you need to know. Change is being accelerated. Are you noticing as more people awaken, and by just being conscious, aware that we are all one, that change is accelerating? Things are happening much faster. And it was interesting because Kristen and I had that conversation of like cycles. Like we just saw a cycle from the 60s. What was that? 60 years ago. The 60s were 60 years ago. That sounds crazy. But that this time in history, things are speeding up. Those cycles are speeding up. And so our number one, first thing in this Gemini full moon is unexpected changes. But we will have a pressure to people please. And that's the big theme of this full moon and this time period. It's the holidays. There may be familial expectations or businesses or relationships or oh gosh, I should get that person a present, or I should go to that party, or I need to make a fill in the blank. So creating healthy boundaries and choosing no stress. If it's stressing you out, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Don't need that. Manifesting generators, man gens. Who's a man gen? I'm a man gen. Let me spotlight me. Don't overplan. So don't overplan. So number one, unexpected changes, pressure to people please, creating healthy boundaries and no stress. And I'm going to invite you to look at where what would a healthy boundary look like? What do I have planned and what is actually aligned? And I'm going to do some prompts at the end of this. So we'll come back and visit this. But as we're going through this, it's asking us to purge the house, open for changes, big signs and big changes. That's what we're in the season of. So why I think this is great to know now is that when something swoops in, we're not blindsided by it, but we're able to go with it and go, oh, it's a big change. Okay, cool. And you can feel what you feel, like the fear doesn't go away necessarily, but when I am open to change and go with the flow, as opposed to fighting it, magic happens. There is more possibility of whatever is meant for me in that change. Also, we're having a collective rapid healing. Like the collective is in the creation of healing. And I don't know if you've been feeling it, but boy, I've been so agitated, and like relationships are very much coming to the, I don't want to say the surface, to the top, right? They're like, whatever was underneath is bubbling up in relationship to be worked on, to be worked through. Relationships are where we work through our traumas, our pain, our beliefs, and get to move through them. So the opportunity is to not stuff it down, to not avoid it, but to go through it, experience it. Manifestation is increasing in speed. Gemini, so it's a Gemini full moon. So you have two sides. There is the shedding. We're getting used to this awakening and these new muscles. Yay. You've been building new muscles and you're getting used to them. It's like, oh, I'm not triggered by that thing like I used to be triggered by it. I'm not afraid of public speaking or sharing my truth or fill in the blank. What is your why? What is your why in this season? My why to change. I've outgrown this chapter. I've outgrown this job, this home, this fill in the blank. And I get to change why this change is important for me now. Enjoy the changes, embrace the changes. And the only thing you know, what you can count on, death and taxes and change. It's always gonna, like, that's what we got. And that means you're living, like you're alive. I used to get really, it used to freak me out, right? Like when there were the ups and downs, and the downs be like, oh, it'll never go up again. But we now know, you have this muscle of what comes around goes around, the ups and the downs. If there is a down, there will be an up. It may be tomorrow, it may be a year later, whatever it is, we don't know the timing of it, but there will always be an up. So the opportunity is to embrace the change, enjoy the change. The exercise, and I'll come back to this, in the 3 days before the day of and the 3 days after, this is the exercise. Write 10 things you are grateful for daily, and then say them out loud, followed by thank you, thank you, thank you 3 times afterwards. Yes, yes, yes. I'll remind you of that in a minute. Number 2, know the difference between bypassing and your authentic self. This is an invitation to tune in. This is what's coming up. Am I being lazy in addressing something and bypassing it? Or am I in my truth and authentic self? So it's really asking, am I people pleasing? Am I letting it slide like the good girl, right? Because I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to say the thing. It's asking us not to compartmentalize and not to separate, not to, oh, that's my work life and this is my true authentic self. We get to be that whole experience. You know, I was talking to one of our goddesses, and she has cultivated an image in the world. And part of this from the good girl myth, where she is a high-powered executive and doesn't share her kind of personal growth story or truth of who she actually is on social media or LinkedIn or in social professional settings, right? And it's at a point in her life where she can no longer keep it down. Like, it has to come out of her. She has to express her authentic self. And there is a fear that I have cultivated this image of myself that is a part of me. It's not that it's not a part of her, but this is also a part of her. And the fear is, what will people think if they see this, all of the parts of me? And the truth of the matter is, these are all the parts of you. You know, it's undeniable. And this then is being fake. This isn't your truth. And if people can't accept this, then, well, most likely that's their own stuff, right? Because I'm a whole human and I have many sides of me. I am vivacious. I'm a performer. I am sexual. I am happy. I am sad. I have feelings. I have traumas. I have, you know, fill in the blank. And that compartmentalizing is over. You know, like they do those lists, like short shorts are over. Authentic self is in. So your true bearing of your heart, your vulnerability. And that's actually, I think, number 3 on here is masks, the masks I wear. I mean, that's where we're going. Okay. Allow self to sit in all the versions of you. Sit in all the versions of you. Clarity through the change. God, you know, I harp on this a lot. I'm sure you all have heard me say this a million times. Slow down long enough, turn inward, listen to yourself. Your answers are inside of you. It's like when I'm frustrated with my partner And why don't you just know how to make me happy in this moment? Whereas I don't even have clarity myself. If I don't have clarity myself, how can they meet me there? They're not mind readers. It's like, I think that just should be a bumper sticker. I'm not a mind reader. It's like when I'm driving and people like drive like dumb people. And then I'm like, get out of the way. I tell them because they're not mind readers that we're doing it wrong. Turn on your blinker. You don't need to do a wide birthright turn. Oh my gosh. I could go on for days. I can't even. That's speed limit. It's a suggestion. I'm kidding. Okay. Oh, my husband says that I'm not a minor. Yes, right. My husband, like, I definitely feel like that was a myth that I believed growing up, was that men just knew how my body worked or what I wanted. Like I wanted him to send flowers, but did I ever say, oh, I'd like you to send me flowers? No, you should just know. I want them to show up at my high school so everybody knows I got flowers, right? Like who can relate to that? That was like our thing. Yeah, so good. Yeah. And then what? Like, I can't even, I'll go. Okay, clarity through the change. People pleasing, request needs of people around you during the holiday. Don't do it all yourself. Right? Ask for someone to bring the salad or bring the plates or bring paper plates so you don't have to wash them. Take the kids while I'm cooking. Ask for support. But going back to I'm 100% responsible for 100% of my results. I get clear on what I need and express my need, make the request. And then people have free will. They could say no. And we're building the muscle of asking, and that's okay. Ask somebody else. Ask another person. So, your wants, needs, and desires versus others. Am I in my truth or am I complying? It's a good one. Number 3, open heart. For people to be receptive to your authentic self are rebirthed. We're rebirthed. Open our hearts. That's all we truly want as beings, right? Our patron saint of vulnerability, Brene Brown, says, the thing I crave in you to see in you is the last thing I want to show in me. It's our open heart. It's our vulnerability that we crave in each other. And I hate to say it, ladies, but we get to go first, usually in this category. So if we're not willing to go and share from our truth and our open heart, how the heck can we expect anybody else to do that? And we know that when we do it, it literally melts people. Like when I'm courageous enough to share and open my heart, I actually open 10 hearts. It's like the ripple effect. We are the ripple effect. So respecting others in their healing as well, like their healing may not look like our healing, and respecting their process. How can I allow not to use mask? Well, that doesn't sound good. How can I allow myself not to use a mask? What masks are you putting on from keeping you free from being fully vulnerable? It's like what mask are you wearing so that you're not fully vulnerable? Sometimes I write. Sometimes I'm on my shake plate writing, and it's like, what masks, habits, or behaviors or people are not grounded around you? So what in your world is not grounded right now? It's an opportunity to look at. And when I'm clear in that, then I can ask for grounding. I know I have tools to ground myself. Do you allow people, clients, partners, neighbors online to truly see your truth, the truth of you. I mean, these are just different takes on the same thing, right? My open heart, what masks am I wearing? Am I compartmentalizing? And why am I compartmentalizing? I think is a really good question. Do I not feel safe in an environment? And if I don't feel safe in an environment, why? Because I noticed that sometimes we put on masks to protect ourselves, but sometimes it's a perceived protection, a perceived threat that isn't actually there. All right, number 4, thoughts are tied to emotions. Look for your truth, not bypass, but truly feel. What are the untold stories? Shed light and let go. Let your light fully shine. What mask are you wearing? And so observe, listen, why? Observe, listen, why? Number 5, grief and heart opening. Grief and heart opening for fire signs in particular. There's the grief and shedding. Like, what have you not grieved? Notice what's showing up. I'm noticing that I am being called into leadership and shamanism and am I recognizing it? Like in the moment? Yeah, interesting.
I see that so much, Amber J. Not to interrupt. Yes, goddess.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I find it interesting, just like side note, like what you just said. Like, first of all, I'm a Gemini moon. And secondly, with the fire sign thing you just said, like all the stuff that's like pouring out of me is all grief based as far as like my writing. So interesting. Anyway, I'll let you go. I'll let you keep going.
Amen. I'm almost done. I have prompts for us so we can write on this. Wait for important information and take care of you. I mean, self-care, listen for the downloads. Take time to meditate. Are you taking time to meditate or quiet yourself? However you do visioning. All right, here are the prompts. Prompts. Where can I take something off my plate? All right, next prompt. Where am I people pleasing? Next prompt. Where does change serve me? Where does change serve me? Where am I bypassing? So where am I like maybe shoving something under the rug, not speaking my truth, not in my authentic self? What masks am I wearing currently? Okay, so tell me, share with me what bubbled up for you.